Hey, good evening. I'm here with Paul Hughes-Barlow, the world authority on the Thoth Tarot deck and also the author of this book that we're going to talk about tonight, Beyond the Celtic Cross.
Yes.
So good evening, Paul.
Good evening.
How are you? I'm
good. And you?
I'm very good, very good. All the better for reading this book, I have to say.
Thank God.
So I'm going to ask a few questions just to enlighten the viewers of this video.
Sure.
So my first question is, who is this who is this book written for?
It's written for people who know about the Celtic Cross and the Rider-Waite deck in particular, and they want to go a bit further with their divination techniques. That's pretty. And the whole book is about the techniques I use in the opening of the key spread used by the Golden Dawn. But this is a way of looking at it from the Celtic Cross point of view, basically.
Yeah, I get you. So I noticed in the beginning, and I've heard this from a lot of tarot readers, that sometimes they get stuck in readings.
Yeah,
they feel like they're going around in circles. So how will the book help them to come unstuck, if that's the right terminology?
Well, there's a story to the book. Chapman, who's the co-author with me, she contacted me and said, Paul, I love your videos and your stuff on the opening of the key spread, and I've been doing this reading and I've got really stuck. So I said, okay, well, send me the cards.
Yeah,
these are the cards. And so I was expecting her to send an opening of the key version, which is with cards in a fan, if you like.
Yeah.
And she'd actually sent it in terms of the Celtic Cross spread.
Right.
Past, present, future, and all these kind of things. And I looked at it, so, oh, it's years since I've done anything with the opening of the key spread.
Yeah.
Sorry, with the Celtic Cross spread. So, so I thought about it and thought, well, let's put back the cards back into the sequence so that you can fan them out. Because basically, when you do a tarot spread, you're giving out the cards. If you're playing poker, you go around the table once and then 2 or 3, 4 times, and that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So if you put the cards back in the order, in a sequence, and went from there. See, Kat's problem was that she was in a relationship, so was a bit confused about things. And in particular, the Knight of Wands.
Yes.
So she wanted me to help her understand who this person was, because she wasn't getting the answers in terms of the Celtic Cross.
Interesting.
Basically, so I helped her, we over a period of months, we deconstructed that sequence of cards using all the different techniques. So that's basically what happened. So to find out who the Knight of Wands was.
Brilliant. And I saw that she also had some visionary experiences as part of the process.
She did. She kept quiet about most of them, actually. I think that thinking back, one of the reasons, it might not have been my erudition and brilliant analytical skills, but it was the fact that she's having pretty cosmic experiences as a result of working through this sequence of the cards. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, it's the cards and it's the pictures and the symbols and there's a meaning. But when you work with the energies of these cards, they kind of evoke something within you that brings out knowledge and information and experiences and visions as well. So I wasn't focusing on that. I was just trying to help her understand where she was in her life. And there's a bit about that in the book as well, as to her situation. That's why she was so confused. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So I've spotted, I think, 3 techniques that are taught in the book.
Yes.
Card counting, pairing, and elemental dignities.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about those?
Right. There's different ways of going about this. Card counting is a Golden Dawn technique that uses the system of counting for the tarot cards. So for the major arcana that relate to the zodiac cards, like the Lovers, which is Gemini, the Hierophant is Taurus, the art or temperance card is Sagittarius. For all of those, you'd count 12.
Yeah.
And there's also 3 mother letters, the Fool, the Hangman, and the Aeon, or the Judgment card. And they're known as mother letters, so they count 3.
Yep.
And then there's the planetary major cards. The Magus card is Mercury, the Fortune card is Jupiter, and so on. They count 9, which is counterintuitive and not relevant for the moment. And then you go on to the aces, which you count 5 because they represent 4 element plus spirit. There's a logic to this.
Yeah.
And the other court cards, So the other minor arcana, you count the pit value. So if it was the 3 of discs, you count 3. If there's a 10 of swords, you count 10.
Yeah.
And then with the court cards, the knight, queen, and prince, you count 4, and the princesses, you count 7.
Yeah.
I think that's all of them. And what you do is you start from the top card, say, and whatever that card is, say it's a 3 of cups, then you start with that card, is the first one is 1, and then count 2, 3. And then the next card, whatever that value is, you count from there and so on. And at some point, you'll come to a point where you count back on to one of the cards you've already counted upon.
Yeah.
That's the end of the sequence.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's very short and sometimes it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
So this gives you a way of telling a story.
Yes.
So this is really useful for the court cards, because when you have a court card on its own in the Rider-Waite deck, in a Celtic Cross spread, say, it's in the past, or it's in the future, or it's in work, or it's love, and something like that. It's on its own, and it doesn't relate to anything except spatially, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
But if you do it from this way, so that if you count it from, say, the Knight of Wands in this sequence, you can count in one direction, count from the Knight of Wands, count 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll count onto a card and then another card, and you can do it from both directions. So this is what that Knight of Wands is doing in that sequence of cards.
Yeah.
Then there's another technique of elemental dignities, which relates to a system of the 4 elements, and basically all the cards except the aces and the planetary cards have a dominant element. So for the Lovers card, that would be air, the Hierophant is Taurus, and that's earth. Yeah. And the discs is earth as well, the wands is fire, the cups is water, and the swords are air. Yeah. And there's this way of relating this, certain elements strengthen each other and some elements weaken each other. And you do this by reading the cards either side of the central card. And you can do this for a long, so you get an idea of how the relative strengths and weaknesses of the cards are. So you can tell a story with the card counting. Yeah. And you can work out the relative strengths and weaknesses of the cards using elemental dignities. And the pairing is a simple system where you start with the outer 2 cards and give an interpretation of those 2 and work your way to the center. And that's basically those 3 techniques are the main ones, and there are other ones that you can use as well to flash out the whole sort of story. So with this case with the Knight of Wands, and I think there are other court cards in there, that you can actually see how they interact with each other based on how the card count from each one. Yeah. So this is the analysis that we did for that reading. You know, it's probably the best value tarot reading she's ever had, because it went on for most people it's 20 minutes, half an hour, or an hour. And for her reading, it went on for months. And she became well known as a result and got her own websites and things like this, because she, you know, her name was on the cover as well. Yeah. And she totally transformed her life as a result of this reading. And that's what a good reading will do, in effect, is to transform your life. Not in the way you think, usually, but it's usually better.
So it seems like there's quite a bit of spiritual information there, because you mentioned the Golden Dawn twice.
Yeah. It's well, Waite was a member of the Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn, and he created his own spin-off order. Yeah, and he used that, and the way to promote these orders are secret. So how do you promote them? Because you can't tell
Yeah.
people there because it's a secret. And one of the
Yeah.
ways is to have your own tarot deck, and,
Yeah.
and people want to know more about it, and they write you and say, there is this secret order of masters who can teach you more about the tarot. So that's really the reason for the Rider-Waite deck as much as anything else. And that's also, of course, based upon the Golden Dawn system. And he would have known about the opening of the key system, although he doesn't refer to it in his books.
Yeah, interesting. So I saw that Catherine became a professional tarot reader after doing this. So is that kind of part of the opportunity of by studying this book carefully?
Yes, it's going to set you on a journey. And she's written some of her own books since then, and she has a brilliant knowledge base on elemental dignities and lots of other things on her websites too. So it gives you the confidence.
Yes.
To, if you using these techniques, you go a bit deeper than just the meaning of the cards or the symbols. What do you know the principles? You can transform that reading into multiple levels of meaning, and also give that person that chance to believe in themselves, to validate themselves, and that they have the knowledge and learn how to express it as well.
Brilliant. So Catherine obviously had a lot of your personal time. Are there any other resources that are available if you're studying this book to help and guide you along the way?
Well, yes. Well, there's my Thoth Tarot group, Book of Thoth Tarot group on Facebook, and you can mentor with me as well if you want, or have a reading. There's probably the most simplest ways of doing things. And of course, if you want an actual copy of the book signed and dedicated by me, we can do that as well. I've got some copies available if people want that. So we'd hope to take it further as well.
Yeah, well, I certainly do. I've got a signed and dedicated as well copy, which is
yes.
Cool. So how would one go about obtaining one of these? Contact
me via the YouTube page or Facebook is the simplest ways, and we can arrange. Because it depends on where you are in the world. Delivery, postage, and everything else gets complicated. But I'd love to hear from you and to sort of help you on your journey. Brilliant. It's a very rewarding one as well too, and it's great fun.
Yeah.